Welcome back to the final segment of today's program here on the Taiwan Outlook. I'm your host, Ray Guo. In this segment, we will continue our conversation with Mr. David Frazier, who is the co-founder and also the director of the Urban Nomad Film Festival here in Taiwan. David, based on your observations of Taiwan, what are some of the more interesting features that you see of the society today?
I kind of look at Taiwan as people ask me the question about what's special about Taiwan. Why do you like it so much? Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's the saying, it's like it's a great place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. But
okay.
I feel like Taiwan is the exact sort of opposite.
Okay.
Right. In terms of tourism, there's not a lot of outstanding features. There are, of course, cool things. The world's tallest building for now,
okay.
Taipei 101.
Yeah.
The National Palace Museum has treasures of ancient China. But in terms of the population here is extremely friendly. Taiwanese people have great hospitality. They're magnanimous.
Mm-hmm.
Social stability. Crime is low. Mm-hmm. Everything is convenient. People are helpful on the streets. When
exactly.
In my
when
first
you're
years,
lost or something, yeah.
Right, people will come up to you and say, are you looking for something? And and they will be very genuine and helpful in helping you get there. So, I mean, these are great, wonderful things about Taiwan. If you can speak Chinese, or if you have friends here, it's also a great place to travel. The East Coast countryside.
It's beautiful, yes.
Magnificent.
Yes.
I mean, people go, they say it's like Hawaii.
Yes.
The high mountains is a totally different climate, yes. Also wonderful. Mm-hmm. And I also think Taipei is a wonderful, vibrant cultural city.
Exactly. Yeah.
In terms of contemporary art, the Taipei Biennial is one of the top exhibitions for contemporary art in Asia.
Yes.
In terms of the programs at the National Theater and Concert Hall, they're on par with what's happening in any cultural capital in the world with classical music and other things. The film festivals are fantastic. So I feel like there's just constant stimulation, interesting figures coming through all the time.
Okay. And over the last 15 years after you being in Taiwan, what was the changes that you have sensed the most in what area? In terms of the kinds of freedoms that, I mean, today compared to 15 years ago, there's been a lot of changes in that area. Did you sense that?
Taipei has gotten a lot more metropolitan.
Yes.
I think 15 years ago, especially young people, weren't so up to date, say, on international fashion. I mean, now the kids, you could put them in the middle of Tokyo or New York or wherever.
They all look the same.
Well, not the same, but I mean, they would
blend right in. Yes.
Right, where before they might have been like geeks or
kind of a little different. Yeah.
This kind of thing in terms of music and cultural influences, they're very, very up to date on what's happening everywhere.
Okay.
They're in touch with all the newest stuff.
Okay.
The city is also much friendlier to visit. With public transportation, the subway system.
More convenient.
Right,
yes.
the subway system did not exist 15 years ago.
That's right.
So, so now anyone can fly in from the airport, take a bus into the city, and immediately access this. It's easy to get around.
Okay. And David, you also being very active in Taiwan's independent music scene. Can you then give us, for those of us who are ignorant about those, developments, can you give us an overall description of the independent music community in Taiwan?
It's like everything else. It's very vibrant. It's very happening. There's a lot going on. There's multiple venues all through Taipei. So if you're into rock music, if you're into folk music, or sort of jazz or this kind of different genres of indie rock,
together. Yeah.
There are places to go. There are unique scenes. The Taiwan Aboriginal folk singers is a sort of unique genre. that you can find in Taiwan that,
yes.
you know, you won't find anything exactly similar anywhere else.
Okay.
You know, there are cafes that cater specifically to that here in Taipei.
Yes.
There are, you know, fantastic music festivals. You know, nightclubs are getting sort of top-name DJs and acts on a very, very regular basis. So, you know, it's like every Thursday, if you open up your Facebook events, and
yes.
you know, it's overflowing,
pile,
right?
Events available,
and it's more things than you can possibly even attend. So, yeah, it's fantastic. I think it's one of the most fun cities in Asia.
Yeah. But did you sense that when you first arrived here 15 years ago?
15 years ago, no, it was different. I thought Taipei was fun, but it was also new and exotic.
Okay, and it was probably one-dimensional at the time too.
Yeah, a little bit more one-dimensional.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to become friends with a lot of the rockers.
Okay, locally. Early
on, because first of all, no one would write about them except for the English newspapers.
Okay.
So I was one of the only ones writing articles about what they were doing.
Okay.
And two, you know, I was genuinely interested in their music, and that community then was very small. It's expanded, and I think
tremendously over the years.
I think among college students now, the sort of music is becoming a more important part of identity.
Do you sense any particular factors that prompted these changes, these new developments? Was it because that the world is becoming, you know, flat, and then people are more integrated, so you have, you know, more recognition for the available options and developments in Taiwan, so you have more top musicians coming in, artists coming in? What was, you know, some of the factors that you could identify?
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, one thing would be, economy is getting better.
Okay.
But I think also the focus among the younger generation is different than among the older generation. Young people are into culture and lifestyle. Older generation is more into economics and, you know, making money.
Okay.
So, I mean, that has become less of a focus.
Okay.
I mean, all kinds of sports, you know, like surfing, windsurfing,
yes.
This kind of leisure activities are becoming like really mainstream in Taiwan now. Music, same thing.
That wasn't the case 15 years ago.
No. So it's those musicians I got to know back in the day. You know, they were the ones who sort of went on and borrowed money from their parents or whatever to invite bands to come to Taiwan, and you know, they found out they weren't losing money all the time, making money here and there, and they continued, and it's grown, and then you know, you have some nice music festivals happening.
Okay, and you just mentioned that Taiwan, or Taipei in particular, is one of probably the most fun cities in Asia. Would you think that maybe the foreseeable future that Taipei could become a leader in terms of setting, you know, the trends in music or in film or in, you know, other, you know, fine arts, you know, and then lead the trends, you know, at least on the regional sense?
I think there's right now that's talked about quite a lot, especially among the government.
Soft
you know,
powers.
Right. You know, this sort of like competition of cities to become cultural leaders. So it's, you know, in Korea, in Japan, but also say
Shanghai,
Thailand, Hong Kong, Shanghai. They're all trying to develop this kind of infrastructure. You know, I think what's important, I mean, obviously you can put money into programs and create lots of software developers and make video games or animators and this kind of thing. But, you know, to have like a genuinely vibrant culture, you also have to sort of have this sort of like a little bit looser kind of infrastructure where, you know, anyone who has interesting ideas has the freedom and availability to pursue them. So you want to have fertile cultural scenes, whether it's, say, you know, like a new contemporary art center just recently opened, which is completely independent of any government money, and it's actually one of the most fantastic things to happen in Taiwan's art scenes in years. And with music, it's the same thing. They're not getting money from the government to open a live house or to bring these international bands. That's what the kids. So, in sort of the healthy grassroots environment, I think is really, really important, and figuring out how to cultivate that is something Taiwan should think seriously about.
Okay, and finally, David, you're American, right?
Yes.
And you've been in Taiwan over roughly 15 years now. Then a lot of people are saying that Taiwan is not becoming more internationalized, but becoming more Americanized. Is that your view also?
No, not at all.
Okay, because?
Because it's becoming more Japanized, or
no, Americanized. Is that true?
I think the Japanese cultural influence is probably stronger
than the American
in many ways than the American. If you're talking about hairstyles and fingernails and fashion,
some of the clothes
and fashion kids buy in the streets, Japan's a much stronger influence than the United States.
But a lot of people would say, like Hollywood movies, fast food stores in Taiwan, that's more American than Japanese.
Well, yeah, but you have Moss Burger, you have...
but not on the same level as McDonald's.
Right, but, would it... more kids probably watch Japanese cartoons than American cartoons. Adults maybe watch more Hollywood movies than Japanese movies, but at the same time, Taiwan is a place with multiple cultural influences. Yes. And I think it's great that those mix.
Exactly. I think it's whether more American, or more Japanese, or more European, that's certainly the indication that Taiwan is becoming more international and more cosmopolitan. Thank you very much, David, for being on the program. It's truly a pleasure to have you here. I wish you all the best.
Okay, thanks, Raymond, very much. It's been a pleasure.
I want to thank you for watching our program today. I'll see you next time on Microview Television. Thank you.